The pandemic, empty store shelves, and the curiosity to know where our food comes from have all led to an increase in at-home canning. And you know what? You can actually learn the art of canning at the University of Arizona. So here to tell us all about it is registered dietitian Hope Wilson. Hi, Hope.
Hi, Jane.
I am so excited to talk about food canning because I grew up in a home where we did a lot of canning. But for people that don't know what it is, explain what canning is.
Canning's just one type of way or a way of preserving food. You can freeze, you could dry, but canning is a way that where you can keep things on the shelf for a longer period of time. By canning, we heat foods to kill harmful microorganisms like bacteria, and then we remove air from the jar and then create a seal so that nothing can contaminate it again. So it's a great way to keep things on your shelf. You don't have to have electricity like you would with freezing.
So if we wanted to can our food, what types of foods can be canned?
Well, mostly people can the fruits and vegetables that they harvest either from their orchard or their garden, but you can also can meats as well, beans and proteins.
Is there a best time of year to do the canning, or does it depend on the food that you're actually canning?
It's the food that you're canning. The point of canning is to preserve what you have as excess. So if you have a garden, for example, you may notice if you have a garden that you might have a lot of zucchini. You could pickle that zucchini. So it really looks at when you have an excess of something. Also, if you are a person who likes to look for deals, or so when things are in season, they're usually cheaper. That might be the time to do that. Some people, however, might want to just make jam or jelly for the fun of it, and you can do that anytime, but it's best whenever the fruit is when it's in its peak season.
Yeah, and so when people think of canning, preserving food to eat later, it can get scary, right? The idea of this process is daunting. So what's the first thing that somebody needs to know before they start canning?
Well, it is important to remember that safety always comes first, because with canning, we're dealing with some dangerous microorganisms. One of them is called Clostridium botulinum, which can cause a fatal disease, botulism. So you always want to follow the directions of tested recipes. Use the right equipment. Don't make substitutions. Don't try to, for example, it's very important with pickles to not change the amount of vinegar that you would put in there or anything like that. So always remember it's safety first, but do have fun and make something that you'll enjoy later.
So after we go through the process and we can all of these fresh fruits and vegetables, what is the shelf life?
For canned fruits and vegetables, depending on how you store them, generally about a year. So think about it like a harvest season. You would have a season for tomatoes once a year, so you would can about enough tomatoes to last you for the year, and then you'd be ready to can again. You should store them in a cool, dark place and dry place, which isn't so hard in Arizona. Keeping them there, they should last you about a year.
I love it. Okay, Hope. So what classes do you teach at the U of A Cooperative Extension, and where are you located?
Well, the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension is, we've been around over 100 years, and the intent is to take the science and research from the university out to the community. So we have offices in every county. I'm located in Yavapai County. We have virtual and in-person canning classes. We have some that are hands-on, some that are just going over the basics of how to can and when you would use different devices or what you would need to can, or if you'd use a pressure canner versus a water bath canner. We are offering some classes coming up this spring. We should have one starting March 1st that will be virtual, and it'll be listed on our events page, and you can register for that. So it's accessible to anyone in the state, and it's free.
Thank you so much for all this great information.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
You bet. If you'd like more information on the classes, just head to their website.